Oh, that's the one.
That's the one, baby.
That's the one. We're live. Hey everybody. It's lunchtime.
How you like my beard? I got a fresh trim today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's a little less mountain
Looking,
man.
it is a little wavy, like you're talking about. You know, you get the curls going.
Yeah.
It's getting that length.
I took about an inch off because I thought I said yeah, we need to. This is getting a little too long again, but I'm digging it. Everybody should get their beard trimmed if you got one.
Yeah.
Professionally. The other thing that's funny is this guy, you know, as I built a relationship with him, we talked about the podcasting and stuff, and now him and his partner that started the salon they're doing a stylist podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I had a conversation with them. I gave them some equipment reviews, and they bought it all, and they've done a bunch of test podcasts. They're
Hook,
like,
line, and sinker. They bought it all.
they're so fucking cute about like how excited they are about this. And they're going to do interview. Like they got some European stylists they're interviewing. It seems. I mean, I have no interest in that world other than this guy trimming my beard. But I'll probably listen to it. He's a cool guy. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, I wonder how like saturated that niche is.
That's what I told him. I said I asked him. I said you should do your research because niche is where it's at. If you can find a niche and go for it. I mean, I know like I would think it'd probably be congested because man, like have you seen the makeup and hair tutorial scene on YouTube?
Yeah, my girlfriend's into the nail stuff.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's a huge market that's like seemed like the competition has just exploded in the last year or two.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. What do you want? You got anything? You got any pre-show? Do you want to get right to the feedback?
Do I have any pre-show? I had my last Italian class this week.
Last?
Well,
I didn't know I had like
a season.
I didn't know I had a was there a cliffhanger?
Yeah. The finale was, will I actually remember anything long enough to come back for the beginner plus class? We'll see. To be determined. But yeah, I had my last class. We went to dinner afterward at this place, which I can only describe as truly authentic Italian pizza. I have never had
Even better than the one place we went to?
Oh, it's by far the best pizza I've had in America. Like as far as stacking it up against Italian pizza.
Okay.
It's as good as anything I had in Italy, and it's exactly the same as far
Wow.
as I can tell.
Where's it? Give him a plug. Where's it at?
Forno, Osteria and Bar. I'm not gonna say it with Italian accent. Sorry.
Osteria? Is that something to do with bone? I just said like that's what
it's the Bone Zone and Bar.
that's the pizza and oysters.
Bone and Bar.
It's like
yep.
Osteria. It's like it's kind of seems like it might have
osteoporosis.
Exactly. Ossified. It might have some bone.
It could.
Because you know they get those that new. I don't know if they're still doing it, but like 3 or 4 years ago, it was all the rage to like take a femur from like a beef marrow bone and like cut it in half and then suck the marrow out of it. Or I saw some places where they pour whiskey, like you put it in your mouth and they pour it so you get the smoky fatty flavors. Like
I've seen that too, except with Jägermeister down like an ice tube.
Same thing.
Yeah. But it's amazing pizza. So if you're looking for like an authentic Italian pizza, I can't name a place that you can do better in Cincinnati than Forno.
Head to
and they have 2 locations.
Bonforno.
Bonforno. That means I actually don't know what Forno means.
How do you it's
probably fornication. It's probably the goes along with the bone.
How equipped after this class? You did this for like 8 weeks?
10 weeks. Although I missed a couple weeks because I was sick. So
okay.
Yeah.
Do you how well did it prepare you? Like, could you ask like could you know enough to get around like at a tourist level in Italia?
I mean, I already knew enough to get around at a tourist level because they speak English.
Well, but I'm saying, like, could you go like where the bathroom is? Could you say could you ask how much this cup of coffee is? Or
I know the word. I know the word for coffee. It's just cafe.
Cafe, right? Cafe, yeah.
But I don't know. We're not learning a lot of vocabulary. The thing that we're mostly learning is like how to use like adjectives and how to conjugate like 2 very specific verbs, which are essentially to be and to have is all we learned in this first class. But apparently that's the hardest part of the language, is learning how to conjugate verbs.
So they're trying to like, it's all mechanical and structural, and then they're
actually teaching us the language, as opposed to here's just a bunch of words you can use when you go to Italy.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So I don't think I have a functional enough understanding yet to really get around. I can ask people how they are. I can introduce myself. I can ask people, where they're from, stuff like that. But it's anything beyond that, no.
All right. Because I've been still in zombie mode. I'm almost done. I've got a good. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the Kickstarter shipping. I've really only got like essentially t-shirts and hoodies left. And got the paperback out on Amazon. Like that was kind of an ordeal. It's still kind of fucked up. Like the two products don't appear to be the same. Like, when you go to a book and it's like there's multiple. So on the back, on the KDP side, they're definitely linked together. But like they have completely separate Amazon product IDs. My paperback version has 0 reviews. Like, and I went to go report it, and Amazon, there's like this big thing that says your book must be live for at least 72 hours before you can report something. I'm like, God damn it, Bezos.
So I have to have something fucked up on your store for 3 days before.
And is it fucked up because you guys haven't linked it? Why wasn't it linked to begin with? Because it's not. I don't get it. I don't. There's so much stuff on the author side of this stuff that was learning all new, and just all that shipping stuff. Because man, that's the other time. This is the only time I've been like had to do this shit alone. Anthony's helped like physically, but like when we were doing Stamps.com, it's like, I was like getting the data manipulated, and you're like, is it fucked or not? And like this, it's just like I had to do the whole thing all by myself, and it was like not fun, man. I was up to like 3 o'clock in the morning one night, like, why won't this fucking meteorate go across? I've got the why? And I just, what I did? I think you did it too. You just manually, it's just like, what? Fuck it. I'm going to go through every one of these and flip it to media mail. Like, what the goddamn Stamps.com?
No, Stamps.com is both a lifesaver and life destroyer.
Because that's the thing, like, as much as a hell on earth as it is, it's so much better than taking 200 books to the post office and just be...
Staying there at the counter all day.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know if they would actually throw you out.
I shipped...
Because you pushed the limit one time, I remember.
Did. I shipped like 110 packages or something one time. I forget what it was. It was the Christmas cards or... No, it was like T-shirts or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, they didn't really like that.
No.
Not at all.
It's surprising how shitty they'll be, like, if you forget your manifest page. So they have to scan... Like, they have to scan 100 packages versus there's one, which I get it, but
but you're getting paid to do it. Like, what's the difference to you if you're standing here scanning packages or servicing the next two?
Well, I just don't understand.
In line?
It'd be one thing if I did it like 5 times in a row and they patiently explained you need to bring the manifest, sir, but like it's such a like. I had no idea. The first time it happened, I had no idea I was supposed to do this thing, and like Stamps.com didn't tell me how to do it. And she just like gave me this massive wall of attitude, almost to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring 250 back the next day. And what are you going to do about it? Like, I don't know. The whole like, of course, I maybe shouldn't talk about educating people versus just being an asshole to them, because I can do the latter every once in a while. But I don't know. I'm just glad because I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, which is, I just got done with American Horror Story today, put that to bed. Things will start to get a little bit more peaceful in my life, and I can actually have some entertaining lunch stuff for you guys, because it's been really boring. I've been boring as fuck. Oh, Jack did see, Monty Python Holy Grail.
Oh yeah. What do you think?
It held up. I think the first 20 minutes, because I forgot there's like this extended gag with the credits. About this, and then there was like a 5-minute gag involving the credits and the people working on the credits getting fired and those people getting fired. And it's very complicated and verbal, and you got to understand like Scandinavian culture. And then there was another gag where like you're supposed to understand that the movie reels got mixed up. So there's like 2 or 3 minutes of this toothpaste commercial, and like I could tell, and plus it looks dated and shitty and old, and like I could tell I was losing him.
It looked dated and shitty old in the 90s.
Oh no, I know. But he really loved the holy hand grenade and the rabbit. The rabbit, like I remember that's when the thing that I thought was the funniest is when that rabbit started tearing people's heads off. And the biggest laugh is there's a one point where they're being chased through the caves by this animated beast, and they're saved because the animator has a heart attack. There's hard cuts to this guy on a drawing board, like clutching his chest and keeling over. It fucking slayed him, man. So I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe going to the Life of Brian next weekend.
Yeah,
keep the hits coming. Because Cecily and I have also started watching a little bit. Like that's our new bedtime routine. Well, one of them. We watched a little bit of Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Okay.
Or on Netflix, they've got this thing where it's like a half-hour show, and they've got famous comedians like Jim Carrey's in the first one, and they talk about their favorite Monty Python skits and kind of like set it up and then do it. So it's like that kind of like VH1 where they'll have like 6 comedians talking about the same clip for like 5 minutes, and then they show you the clip, and that's kind of been fun. But those guys are pretty funny. Yeah. Also, a lot of problematic things in British humor in the 70s.
Oh, I'm sure.
You wouldn't imagine, but
I can imagine. Yeah. I've seen Faulty Towers.
Have you? I have not.
Yeah.
I've seen Have You Being Served. That's probably like my oldest British sitcom kind of moment.
I've seen Blackadder.
I have not.
It's Mr. Bean. That's where you got to start.
Huh. Is it good?
Rowan Atkinson. Yes.
In the same way Monty Python, like if you...
Yeah. You need to go into it in a certain frame of mind, but yeah, it's good.
All right. Well, are we ready to get some Q's and A's?
Yeah. You want to start?
Yeah. Here on the forums, if it's your first time participating, welcome, and you can submit your questions to #BaldLunch on Twitter, or get on our forums every week in the VIP section. There is a thread that's created by somebody, and that's where you put your questions. All right, first up, Unibowler from San Antonio. Were there any legal hoops that you and Anthony had to jump through to get the book published? I imagine all parties would be very protective of the Game of Thrones property and might tend to be litigious. Just curious if anything had to be done to cover your bases, legally speaking. Not really. Like this is as fair use as you can get. It's a literal work of literary criticism. We did hire an artist to illustrate some things from Game of Thrones, but we were very careful not to actually make anything look like Ned, like Sean Bean, or we didn't use any like house banner things or any. It was all, and in fact, what we had Chase do mostly is illustrate like crazy fan theories, like Roose Bolton. What would that look? Him being a vampire rampaging through a Stark caravan 4,000 years ago. What would that look like? And it was fucking fun to like say, hey, I got this crazy idea for Roose Bolton to be transformed to a vampire, tearing ass into a dire wolf that a Stark king has warged into in the last ditch. And then the guy comes back like a week later and is this beautiful illustration of it's kind of addictive, honestly. I told Jim, it's like, we should get him to illustrate us as like Game of Thrones characters for like our logo or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure Chase would do it. I mean, for money, but he'd do it. And it's just like incredible.
Now maybe this is my opportunity to have that portrait painted of me.
There you go.
Yeah.
He'd do a bang up fucking job, man. He'd have the light playing through your hair, and you'd never be more handsome.
Battle axe in my hand.
Heroic. But no, I mean, obviously we also, like, Anthony was very fastidiously kept track of how much words we actually used, because I thought it's like, I was not worried about how much we could quote from the canon, because like we're criticizing it, right? But he kept a very careful count to make sure it was like less than like 1% or of the total word count. And like we did a couple of things to kind of legally cover our ass and made sure that, like, we say on the copyright page that this is an unofficial, unauthorized work and all that kind of stuff. So but I'm not super worried about being sued. It would suck if we did, because what do you do? I guess what I would do is I'd probably just change the cover art to something generic and take because the only thing they could possibly come after us is the art, that it's because like it's a Weirwood cover, it's got, if you've seen our cover, it's the first men setting fire to a Weirwood tree. Now, does George Martin have a copyright on a bunch of dudes in like copper primitive armor setting fire to a tree with a face on it? No. But if you take that and we tried to ape the font of Game of Thrones pretty carefully, and it's called Gods of Thrones, like that's, I think, the biggest risk. And we'd probably just change the cover and re-release it. And we'd also loudly say how much HBO and George Martin is fucking us over on our and try to gin up some publicity that way.
Yeah.
So, but nah, not really.
They can come after you for anything.
No, that's the thing. Like,
you could have written a Breaking Bad book, and Game of Thrones could come after you and say, like, HBO could say that's a Game of Thrones copyright.
Right.
You'd have to go to court, and you'd have to say, no, it's not. Look, it's obviously Sony's copyright.
Yeah. In this country, you can literally be sued for anything. You could, like, I was talking to a lawyer once, and he said you can be sued for breathing.
Yeah.
And even that's not a requirement. You can be dead and still be your estate be sued. So, and there's really no real recourse. Like,
money. If you don't have money,
there's so much malicious
you can do.
litigation that happens in this country, and it never gets punished. Like the worst of the worst, every once in a while, a judge will decide to, gather his robes up and punish somebody or make an example out of them, but very rarely. So I just think that there would be a lot of bad blood that they would get for coming after our project, which is essentially a love letter to them anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, your turn.
Let's see. BJ Whitcoff. So we were talking about like polling places last week, being churches or schools or whatever. He says, I work for the North Carolina Board of Elections. We use schools because of parking lots and capacity, but the superintendent said 2020, no schools to vote because we can't protect kids. Churches are all we have for 1 million plus people. We use community centers, 50 feet for a campaign mat.
Campaign mat. 50 feet
campaign
for campaign
MAT
materials.
I suppose so, yeah.
Because you can't protect the kids. What the fuck?
I don't know what that means.
Man, that's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good reason for having making Election Day a national holiday, so the kids won't be in school.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about protecting them.
That seems like the obvious solution that doesn't violate the Constitution.
Right. Just make it a national holiday.
What the
fuck? That can happen. That could happen. That's the frustrating thing is like that's something that would probably not. It probably wouldn't boost it a bunch, but it would absolutely, it would make sure it is on people's calendars. People wouldn't forget about it. Because it is a hassle. Like if you're a working stiff, like organizing your day to where you can get to the polls, and if you go to some place where they're trying to suppress the vote and you got a 4-hour wait in line, I mean, a lot of people are just going to see that and be like, "Fuck this, turn around." So. Yeah, if we can't protect the kids, then let the kids out of school. I mean, that's something that I think if the governor of North Carolina could probably do. Just issue an edict that it's a state holiday, and I don't know. It seems like a lot of simple solutions to getting people reinvested in the vote. There's a lot of things, like many other things. There's a lot of places all over the world where you could look for similar cultures to us. I think like Australia isn't in a holiday and it's like mandatory voting and they support mail-in voting and they have like sky high participation in their democracy. Like if we wanted it, we could do it. Now start asking the question why we don't want to do it. And then you get somewhere. All right. Gunat from California. Aaron, what Hogwarts house would Jim be sorted into?
Hufflefuck. Is that
Hufflefuck? You heard it here from the man himself.
Hufflefuck.
He'd be a Hufflefuck. One of those fucking Hufflefucks.
Yeah.
He also wants. I think unironically he's a Ravenclaw for sure. For sure.
What the fuck? I mean, I should be insulted or something. I don't know. I feel like I should be insulted, but I don't know enough to be insulted.
So he wants to know what mine, Cecily's, and J-Dog's houses are, and I assume you're talking about Jack there. I don't know. I guess I probably want to be a Gryffindor. Yeah. I honestly don't know what Cecily would want. I don't know how I would sort her. Probably Ravenclaw or Gryffindor, because I feel like Hufflepuff is the chump house. I mean, they try to make it so it's not, but it kind of is. It kind of is. And Jack definitely I don't know whether he gets sorted in there. It'd be Gryffindor because that's what he'd aspire to be anyway. All right, back to you, man. Oh, speaking of Hogwarts, how excited are you to perhaps have an office space inside a Hogwarts castle?
Yeah. The building we're looking at on Tuesday.
How,
It looks like a fucking castle. It's
how would you describe it?
I mean, it looks like Downton Abbey. It's
Yeah.
like this old estate style.
It's 120,
building.
140 years old.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping the office is awesome and that they will subdivide it for us because
Yeah.
it's a huge fucking space and we don't need that
2,000
much.
square feet.
We don't need that much, and I would much prefer to pay half of what
But it's
that
cheap.
would cost.
It's cheap. There's that.
Yeah, for the space, it's pretty cheap.
But anyway, yeah, I'm.
The building looks awesome.
If we do, like I said, like if we do get in there, it's like it's so fucking cool looking.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool looking. And they've really, and it also, because I was worried that it would look like shitty on the inside, but from the pictures we could tell online, maybe it does, but they really modernized the inside. I don't know how, like
Except our space.
I'm always amazed when, like, my dad used to work at the dental school at Indiana University Hospital, and that building's like 140 plus years old. How the fuck do you modernize those things? Because they're not like built in any way that's like shell or like it's not a steel frame. You can just like there's all load bearing shit. I think it's or you see like when they do the Vatican, like they put fiber optic cables and heating and air conditioning. Like how the fuck do you do that to a 1,000-year-old building, man? Structural engineering.
Yeah, that was the thing about especially in Venice when I went there.
Right.
Like all of the places that we would stay had like Wi-Fi, but they didn't really have any other kind of internet connection because you can't run cables in a fucking 200, 300-year-old stone building, you know?
You're not going to. I mean, they've obviously wired it for power, right?
Yeah, yeah, they wired it for power, but all of that shit is like exterior wiring.
Right.
I mean, it's not going inside the stone.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, it's crazy. Okay, James Stout wants to comment about the lawn mowing stuff that we talked about. He asks a couple questions. Batteries, acres. He doesn't know what those are. I used to have to use this, and he shows an image of one of those rotary push mower things. We actually have one of those in the garage. My girlfriend used that to cut her grass at the last place.
There's
which
a lady
is insane to me because the yard was big.
There's a lady in my neighborhood that uses them to cut. I mean, I've heard that if you keep them sharp, and use them as directed, that they're extremely easy to use and environmentally friendly, and probably give the best cut. Like a sharp blade stresses out the grass the least, and et cetera, et cetera. But I wouldn't know because I just battery powered mine to death.
Yeah.
So is they called as a reel style, right?
Reel?
I think it's a reel style.
Sounds right. Yeah.
I just feel like I just can't get over like how fucked up it would be to trip and fall on that thing. Like it's just nothing but exposed blade.
Don't fall.
And I'm clumsy.
Don't fall on a lawnmower.
No,
people.
Don't.
That's my tip for the day.
Let's see. Captain Stubby from Brisbane. Game of Thrones prequel question. If the upcoming Game of Thrones prequel is based on The Long Night, which took place 8,000 some years before the current Game of Thrones timeline, what would the technology level be of the prequel era? Would there be buildings, armor, weapons? What would their clothing look like? If it's largely the same as the current timeline, it'd be hard to believe that no technological progress has been made in 8,000 years. On the other hand, I don't really want to see cave people, slugging it out either. Well, I can tell you that I think you're supposed to understand that the First Men's technological level, which is what we're dealing with here, is like the Bronze or Copper Age. Like they haven't learned how to smelt, like they're not quite at the Iron Age. Certainly haven't learned how to smelt steel. But that's what you're going to get now in practice. What will that look like? And does it make sense that you'd have that much technological stasis for 8,000 years? But it's kind of like in Star Wars where you've had hyperdrive for 10,000 years and then that's it. Like it kind of defies logic and explanation. But
I think it's almost easier to explain in the Game of Thrones universe if you really want to try to, because like civilizations and technologies kind of rise and fall a lot in that universe, it seems.
Right.
Like you look at the Valerians, right? And they just essentially got wiped out. All their tech is kind of cordoned off into one area of the world that you can't go to.
It got exploded.
Yeah. So I don't know.
They have generational Armageddons in the form of these extremely long winters where it gets 300 feet deep snow. It's like an ice age that comes once every few generations. So there are some kind of in-universe explanations, but And I don't know, like, it's kind of, okay, does it blow your mind to think that we're closer chronologically to Cleopatra's time than Cleopatra was to the time of the Great Pyramids? Of like Khufu and all those? Because that's an actual fact.
Yeah.
Like we're more of her contemporary than she was of the Old Kingdom. But you look at the technological progress, and I'm sure there was made, but like these people made the fucking Great Pyramids and then stopped, and then Cleopatra came along. It's like you do sometimes. I think that we take for granted how much the system of writing, the printing press, the internet, like how much this stuff is just really accelerated. That if things break a different way, and for whatever reason we don't come up with a way to record language, you know, like that crucial technology doesn't get invented, like how much we'd just be spinning our wheels, because you can't stand on the shoulders of giants, like people famously say. You have to start over every generation.
Yeah, and also like just communication, the spread of knowledge.
Right.
Like it now, you know, somebody comes up with an idea, it's on the internet 45 seconds after they had it.
Right.
And everyone has access to it. Before that person might come up with the idea, use it for 25 years in their work, and then die with it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, I don't know.
But anyway, that's my understanding of it. What's your next tweet?
Nathan Stinson says, in honor of late Stan Lee, R.I.P., what is your favorite cameo of his in the Marvel Universe? Or he invites us to also give our top 3 cameos. I'm having trouble thinking of one.
The one that pops in my head.
A bus driver recently, which I remembered.
The one that pops in my head is, and I think this was in an Iron Man. It might have been the first one. It might have been the second one, where Stan Lee is misidentified as Hugh Hefner. Because he's got the silk robes and he's with these statuesque blondes, and Tony's like walking through this party. He's like, "Hey, Hef," and it turns around, it's Stan Lee.
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
I like that one. That's the one that I can think of. I know he had a really funny cameo in Deadpool, but I can't fucking remember what it is.
Yeah,
I remember that being a very memorable one. But what are you gonna do? I will say, if you want to have a nice long nostalgia fest for Stan Lee, listen to Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman podcast this week. Because I did not know this, but Kevin Smith had a 20-year-long friendship with Stan Lee that started when he cast him in Mallrats. And they got to be very good friends, where they worked together in several projects. Like Stan would come over to his house for like his kids' poetry reciting night, and you know, Kevin Smith is a great storyteller. He loves the man. And the other thing about Kevin Smith is he's a softie. So like he gets like honestly and legitimately choked up recounting some of these stories, but it's also very light. Like it's, you know, it's not a morose thing. The man lived to be almost 96, and he's you know, like that's the thing, is like he talked about like when he was in his 70s, he cast him in Mallrats, and then he got they wanted to do this like Stan Lee's Myth of I can't remember what the project was, but the idea is like, you know, Stan's getting old, we might not have him around for we need to get all this, and then the man lived another 2 decades. Like fuck y'all.
Right.
It's great. It's the I didn't listen to it all because he didn't open up the audience questions. I'm like, oh Jesus, this could get cringy fast. But like when it's just him telling stories about Stan Lee and how they met, and like all the times they worked together, and just like funny stuff and hilarious stuff, and like really poignant, moving stuff about his relationship with his wife Joni. Yeah, if you want to have some good feelings about Stan Lee, check out Fat Man on Batman, the one that posted this week. There you go. Did you have a cameo? Do you want to? Oh, it's me?
No, I really like Deadpool 1 also, but I can't think of it. It was Deadpool 2, right?
I think so.
The most recent Deadpool.
I think so.
Yeah.
Giardinello from Long Island. How's Jim liking Red Dead Redemption 2? RDR2.
I mostly like it. I think it's got problems, which have been talked about at length, both here and the rest of the internet. But also, it's still a really good game. I have not had much time at all to play it, though. I'm still probably like 20% into the story of the thing.
Yeah, and I
chapter 2 or something.
I really want to play it pretty bad, but I just haven't had time.
Yeah.
I haven't had time to play. Like I've gotten like maybe an hour or two of Bloodborne in the last couple weeks. Just kind of like if I got a spare minute, I'll spend 15 minutes grinding blood echoes because I'm trying to like get a certain level of upgrade before I think I progressed in the game too far. And I got to this part where like I was just getting my ass kicked and the game was back to being like impossibly hard, and I think it's like I just need to go someplace, and because I'd never done any of like the chalice dungeons and a lot of side quests, and like I was like I need to like step back, upgrade my weapons, upgrade my character, and try again. So I've just like if I have 15-20 minutes, I'll go to a spot and like grind blood echoes and try to get an upgrade or two, but I haven't had a lot of gaming time. Me and Jim were talking about like licking our chops about, man, when Christmas comes around, we're gonna have like a week to do nothing. We're just gonna do nothing but play video games, and we'll see.
Yeah, True Detective's gonna take a giant shit on us.
Yeah, but that's
January.
Like I just like a week off without any responsibilities sounds pretty nice to me. Okay, is it my turn? No,
nope. I think it's my turn. Sean has not a question, just an observation. Working on a book at work called "I Was Anastasia," about a lady who really thinks she is or is just claiming to be Anastasia Romanov. Not really sure, just doing the corrections. Don't know why the Romanovs are the new hot shit. I guess they are. I don't know, books and TV series, and I don't know, man.
What's that effect? Is like the Mandela effect, where like when you hear something, it if someone says the word golf ball, and then you'll notice like all the golf balls that you see in the next week. I wonder if it's that. Like there's always been low key like Roman, but now that there's a high profile project, it just jumps out at you more.
Could be.
Because there's a Romanov thing in American Horror Story. A full-on reenactment of the Romanov deaths 2 weeks ago, and like there's no fucking way Murphy could have put that in as a response to Romanovs. Maybe you heard it, and yeah, but yeah, like what makes you? But if you know what, I would never thought anything of it had it not been for Romanovs. It'd just been like, oh yeah, there's the Anastasia. Okay, I see what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's like I think I'm not sure if it's the Mandela effect or if it's something else, but there's something that describes that being aware. Like when you buy a new car. How many Mini Coopers do you notice on the road after you bought your Cooper?
Everyone that passes me.
Yeah, but like before then, did you notice like Mini Coopers on the road? Yeah, it's like one of those types of deals. Or like when you're a motorcyclist, you become aware of how many motorcycles there are around you all the time. It's one of those things. So I think it's probably that.
I think it's called the Romanov effect.
It is. It's the Wiener effect. DJ Caudle. The wife wants...
Doc J. Cottle.
Yeah, the wife wants to put Christmas decor up now before her family comes into town for Thanksgiving. I told her she'd be doing it all on her own. Question, when is it acceptable to decorate for Christmas or start playing Christmas music? On Thanksgiving Day or the day after or some other time?
Oh, the day, you can't do it on Thanksgiving.
I mean, you could.
No.
I mean,
that's too... You got to give Thanksgiving time to breathe, man. Give it some room.
Right. This is like asking how much pie can you eat. You can eat as much pie as you want, but you might get fat, you might get cavities, you might get sick of the taste of pie. I mean, I'm I guess a traditionalist as much as an atheist, former Jehovah's Witness, started celebrating Christmas in my mid-30s guy can be. I like putting up the decorations the day after Thanksgiving, and I like taking them down the day after New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Because that just feels to me right. And so far, I haven't got sick of Christmas. I still think Christmas is fucking awesome. I look forward to it every year. So I know a lot of people my age are like over Christmas, and I don't want that to happen to me. So I ration my Christmas spirit. But it's no wrong answer. If you keep the Christmas spirit alive in 1st of October, or if you're having a bad year and that's going to help you turn your frown upside down, then fucking do it, man. There aren't any rules. There are no rules. The universe is a cold, unfeeling entity. It doesn't give a shit. You can keep it up all year round. Who cares?
Damn.
There's no rules. This is like Nam.
All right.
It's your turn.
Should move on. DJ Whitcoff wants to bake my noodle today. Is cereal a soup? I know Jim hates this, but I have to throw crap at the fan once in a while. Side note, is Chipotle food? Yes.
I mean, of course it's food. How the hell could Chipotle not be food?
He's just giving me shit.
Oh, okay.
Is cereal soup?
Yes.
since you can have a cold soup,
Yeah, you
like
can.
a bisque,
Absolutely.
I would say, yeah, cereal is probably soup. Now, you can eat cereal without milk and it wouldn't qualify as a soup.
Right.
So,
But you can eat...
cereal is not a soup. Cereal with milk is a soup.
So a bowl...
Because I've eaten cereal many times without any, just dry.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It's like croutons aren't a salad.
Yeah.
They can be a component of a salad, but you can also eat croutons out of the bag. I've done that before.
But it's weird because we use the name of the dried good to refer to the dish, which is actually cereal and milk. And there are only two components, the largest of which is cereal. So, like,
Right.
yeah, cereal.
And also cereal is
with
actually
milk is soup.
refers to the grain, right? Like it's
Yeah,
even
yeah.
like abstracted beyond that. Like,
Right.
what we call cereal is
Yeah, I mean the all berries not Count Chocula, Frankenberry is not cereal
Yeah,
by
like,
any
if-
definition.
if you took someone sent me
Oops, all berries, Lucky Charms.
2 years ago, someone sent us that Rick and Morty. I think it was before season 3. Someone sent us a box, a fake box of that Lucky Charms cereal. I forget the Squiggy Squares or whatever it was called. And when we were packing up the office, I'm like, this shit is going to go bad eventually. It's clearly got something edible inside. It's like, what I did. So I carefully opened it up, took the package out, and it's Lucky Charms only without the cereal. It's just literally all marshmallow.
Yeah.
So
No, I think it's Captain Crunch did an Oops All Berries.
Oh, Oops All Berries. So
Yeah.
it's that. So what I've done is like, because Jack likes Lucky Charms, I've been taking like a quarter of that bag and adding it to the Lucky. So it's like super Lucky Charms. But theoretically, if you ate that, it wouldn't be a bowl of cereal.
No, there's no cereal in it.
But this is
It's
exactly
just marshmallows. It's just sugar and milk.
This is exactly why I hate these kind of questions, because I've just had 5 minutes of my life stolen simulating an interesting conversation
Yeah.
when we could
And we're no
actually have an
closer to
interesting
the truth.
conversation. Right.
Yeah.
Because the truth is out there and not in your bowl. So
That's the slogan of my new cereal.
It is.
Called Oops All Podcasts.
oops, no cereal, eat air, eat dust.
Called Oops No One Gives a Shit.
Dude, okay. I gotta ask, this is a question I want to turn over to you.
Oh, fuck.
Dummy, what is the background image that is used for your Gods of Thrones YouTube videos? Is it so deep I don't actually get it or absolutely nothing? I don't know why that's happening. When I post something on the Game of Thrones feed, it automatically is converted to a YouTube video. Did you do that?
Yeah, that's a Libsyn thing.
God damn it. Oh, so how can I make sure the media actually, because it pulls some default like weird bar image. Like let's just do this offline. But I had no idea it was doing that. It's something that Jim started doing because our feeds are now powered by Libsyn instead of our own system. So I don't mind it being posted to YouTube. That's great. I just would like to have a nice looking cover on it so it doesn't look like dog shit. And
Now we can fix that.
I went to go fix it just in YouTube because I thought you could just drop an image and just say it lasts for the whole video, but apparently you cannot.
Yeah. You have to like re-encode the whole thing.
Yeah, that's bullshit. So yeah, it's but yeah, no, it's not a thing. I just found out like a day or two ago it was doing that because I happened to be on the I forget why I was there. Oh, I was wanting to check like how many what the engagement was with the Serious Film Fest, and I'm like, the fuck is this? Is Jim like doing? And then I said it's got to be automated because Jim didn't even know I was doing those podcasts when I first started doing them. All right, your turn.
And I sure as shit wouldn't just put up a big black and white.
No,
thing.
he would not. It'd be a production.
Yeah. All right. BJ Woodcoff also asks another question. He's got like 16 questions. All right. Is a wrap a sandwich or burrito? Neither. It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a new food product.
Oh boy, here we go. If the N word is in a song, can white people sing it?
No, I don't think so.
Press your luck as you may, but
Cecily introduced me because I love singing along with rap music. It's great, and we were doing it like when we early goings getting together in the car. We were both doing it because she likes rap music too, and I noticed she is substituting the word kitten, and it's great. Because it's 2 syllables.
It's pretty funny.
It's
probably
funny
in a lot of circumstances.
And also it rhymes with itself, obviously.
Yeah.
So when you're doing those complex rhymes rhyming the N word, it's like it works. So like white people start saying kitten, instead of the N word, and that way, you know, because like my philosophy is I want that word as far away from my mouth and my brain as it can possibly get.
Yeah.
And I've seen in my I've really worked hard in the last 10 years to not say the R word, you know, the slur for
no, I don't know what the R word
yeah,
is.
right.
Can you explain?
Yeah.
Can you further retread?
I started to retread because that's hateful to tires.
Me.
But like a couple months ago, I slipped up and I said it, and then I said it like I caught myself using it like 3 times in a conversation. I feel like that's a neural connection, and I just that word's fucking radioactive. I don't want to see how close I can get to it.
No, of course.
So not. Yeah, kitten. Use kitten.
Okay,
it's really funny too. Like and also like you can then like mix other things up, like throw some meows in there instead of like kitten, like scratching. I mean, shit. Run the Jewels did a whole fucking album that way. Have you heard that? Their Meow the Jewels remix?
No.
Where they did the entire Run the Jewels too, except for they took all the music out and did cat sounds.
Oh, that sounds...
It's pretty entertaining. And the videos, my God, check out the videos they did for it. All right. What's the other one?
He has one final question. Does a straw have 1 hole or 2?
I mean, it's got 1 hole.
Yeah. It is a solid piece of plastic with 1 hole all the way through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that one's just self-evident.
Yeah. So again, another 3 minutes of my life stolen. Although the kitten thing, I think that's worth talking about. All right, Brandon DeBard has a smoked turkey update. I smoked the pre-Thanksgiving turkey. It was dank, and I got high AF. And it was fine. Not great, just fine. Me and my wife decided that for Thanksgiving, we'll just do the turkey in the oven, and I'm going to smoke a ham instead. Yeah, I think it's probably easier to smoke a ham than it is like smoking salmon, like we talked about last. That's like a very high degree. You got to be a very high level smoker to get that.
Probably precision involved in that.
While I'm here, I'll ask you if you're going to see Detective Pikachu and what's your favorite Pokemon.
No, and no.
Yeah, I don't
have a favorite Pokemon. I'm not going to see Detective Pikachu. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I played my share of Pokemon because I have a kid and he got into his Pokemon collecting phase, and it seems like a perfectly cromulent card game, but I don't have maybe Cecily does because she grew up with an unironic love for the video games, and I never did.
Yeah, my girlfriend's been playing Pokemon Sun for the 2nd time.
Yeah,
on DS. I got her that for a birthday or Christmas or
Cecily
something.
always likes playing the latest and greatest ones, but yeah, I don't. And in fact, I think it looks weird and off-putting. I've seen enough of it, like just used in meme footage where they replace the shocked Pikachu face with the homage in a trailer, and I was like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's not for me. Good on you if you like it, but it's not for me. Your turn.
I'll skip that one for now. I'll come back. Snorlax, have either of you watched Deadwood? Would you consider doing a rewatch and pod in preparation for the new Deadwood movie? No, I'm not going to watch, what was it, 3 seasons of a show?
Yeah.
And do a podcast about it?
I keep wanting to, because I watched the first 2 seasons. It's great. It's awesome television, and I like Westerns. It's right up my alley. It's just I'm perpetually behind current stuff to go back and watch it. Like now, if the movie's release is nigh, that might light a fire into my ass to watch it, so that presumably if we did a first run movie, we can do the shtick where I know what the hell's going on and Jim doesn't, because like I'm guessing the movie will not require you to watch all 30 hours. I mean,
I would hope not.
People in Hollywood like to make money, and there's no worse way to make money than, I mean, I don't know, like how, I'm trying to think, the Firefly movie.
I don't think you needed to
Serenity.
watch Firefly to actually
I don't think so
Serenity.
either. I don't think so either, which is kind of like a plus and a minus, but
yeah, it means they have to cover a little more ground in the movie.
Yeah. But a lot of the Deadwood characters are archetypal. Like you get within 5 minutes of who they are and what they're kind of all about and what's coming out of their mouth.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if it gets close to the movie coming out, and because I kind of like, I've realized that I kind of like am in this full catastrophe living where I just pick up the thing that's most on fire, and do that thing and then get it out so it's like I'm very much like catch as I can, and if things aren't like the highest priority, they just don't get done. They just fucking don't get done. And watching Deadwood season 3 is not anywhere near the highest priority. So, Nagastine, any thoughts on the casting of Jon Favreau's Star Wars show The Mandalorian? Pedro Pascal as Prince Oberyn as the lead role, and Gina Carano. Any chance of bald coverage when this hits Disney's streaming service? I mean, there's always a chance.
I don't know. I'm kind of interested in it.
Yeah. It's so funny because when we were in Vegas, like the Mandalorian photo came out, and like we were all sitting looking at it, and we're like, oh man, this fucking looks amazing. It's gonna be cool. And we're like, why are we excited? It's literally just a dude in a updated Boba Fett suit. Like, I mean, granted, Boba Fett's one of the coolest looking motherfuckers ever, but it is amazing how little the bell has to be rung for us to start salivating. Like, just literally a shot of a dude wearing a cool looking armor is enough for us to be like, I'm in. I'm fucking in. But Jon Favreau, I think, is the other thing. As I was listening to Kevin Smith, as because like he's running through all these different projects he's done with Stan Lee, but it's also kind of an unofficial history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how like Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau kind of started this whole thing and how passionate they were about it. And I kind of like that Jon Favreau is in charge of this project because he's not going to fucking half-ass it. So, and I feel like Star Wars thus far, the rebirth has been just way too by committee and paint by numbers. So I'm excited. I mean, but yeah, I mean, we intended to cover Star Trek Disco too. We didn't.
No, I'm glad we didn't. It turned out I didn't like that show very much.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm not. It's like the next Star Wars. Like I can talk shit about Revenge of the Jedi or whatever the last thing, Return of the Jedi. What the hell was the last one called?
The episode 3?
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith?
No. The last episode of Star Wars we got.
The Last Jedi?
Revenge of the is Return of the Return of the Hamill.
Return of the Hamill. Yep.
I as much shit as I talk about that movie, like I think
the last one was Solo, actually.
Solo, which I liked. I'm not gonna like Star Wars has to fuck me 2 or 3 more times before I'm like out. Yeah. So I will be there to watch the next movies and television show. I will
be there to get fucked.
I will be there wearing the appropriate bondage gear with the ball gag in my mouth. Nipple clamps in place, ready to go. And maybe they'll be gentle this time.
Wearing that Twilight bodysuit.
I need the aftercare. I need the aftercare after they brutalize me that way. Okay, your turn.
Eric Whalequist says, Aaron, let me help you here. LaCroix flavor tiers. Just gonna go through them all. Garbage tier, lemon, lime, coconut. Mid tier is orange, mango, and berry. Just generic berry, huh? High tier, grapefruit and passion fruit, and then elite tier, which is where I think you should really start and end your LaCroix journey. Tangerine and cran raspberry.
That sounds like no. What was the shit tier?
Lemon, lime, and coconut.
See, I like coconut.
Okay.
Coconut and pineapple are like some of my favorite flavors. So like I feel like our taste buds aren't lined up here. But also, you guys keep trying to make Aaron and LaCroix happen. I just don't think it's ever gonna happen, man. Because I'd have like if I was gonna wean myself off of cola to something else, I just do water. That's a point in my life. Like I'm all about depredation and depriving myself and starving myself and living my best life. And that's like it's water. I had like a 20-minute conversation with the Lyft driver when we were on the way to the biscuit place last week. And I just got engaged him on water, and he's talking about water. Now he's opting like he only drinks room temperature water.
Oh, what the fuck?
Because he found that like he thinks it's the best for your body. Because like if it's cold, like it shocks your system. And I'm like, in myself, I'm thinking 40-degree difference in water flavors shocked your system. Maybe your system needs a shock, buddy. But like I think I'd go that direction. Like fuck carbonation, especially if I'm not getting caffeine. Like carbonation is just a caffeine delivery system to me. So this is not like, again, my wife's already converted.
Coffee.
If she can't get me to drink this shit, I doubt anyone on Twitter can. But I'm not saying to stop trying, sailor. MFT.
Same thing to Star Wars. Come on,
That's
baby.
right. That's right. That's right. I'm playing hard to get, LaCroix. Over the past year, I had to stop listening to 3 of my favorite podcasts because in all 3 podcasts, one of the co-hosts just up and disappeared. No explanation whatsoever.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Like they never existed. And to make it worse, they start the introduction with, as always, I'm with such and such, like that new person has always been there. So my request of either
What?
Jim or Aaron disappears out of the sudden. Please don't pretend like the other person never existed. That would be weird.
As always?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we could do like we did Blue Yonder, where we just kept...
That's a weird thing to just roll with.
But we do it. Like, we've done it. We've already done it. Like, here's the thing.
Are they doing it as a joke? Like, can you tell? Are they
Doesn't sound-
kind of chuckling as they say, as always? Or are they playing it dead straight?
If something happened between Jim and I where there was bad blood enough to where we're not appearing in each other's podcasts, I mean, I definitely wouldn't pretend it didn't happen. Like, we would, I don't know what this fucker would do in his podcast, but I would definitely talk up just the way I did with Mad Brew. Like, here's my side of the story, go hear his side of the story, and then you move on. Like, I think the reason you move on is because if you keep talking about it, it just keeps the wound fresh and it keeps the community all inflamed, where it's like, you know, had some good times, shit went bad, we've gone our separate ways, now I'm doing my thing, and let's move on. Like, that allows a community, some form of a community, to keep going on. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't intend that to happen.
To not acknowledge it is a weird thing.
Yeah, like maybe that's the thing. Like, if they didn't acknowledge it at all, it's just like one day, like that's what it sounds like. They just up and disappeared. I don't think we've ever done that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, maybe the closest thing is Blue Yonder, because I don't think we ever acknowledged the fact that Peter was gone. But the also thing is, like, that was a very gradual thing. Like, he was there every week, then every other week, then every other week, then gone for a month or 2, then he just stopped being on it. So, and we took him out of the credit sequence, but that was not our choice. That was not what we wanted to happen. And Mad Brew, we just made a clean break and talked about it. So I will say that we won't like fucking gaslight you. I can promise you that, MFT. And I'm sorry other podcasts have been less sensitive to, because that, you know, it's been reading a lot about these para-casual relationships with these one-sided relationships between like these, you know, people like us and the audience, and how like
the one I have with Scarlett Johansson.
Exactly. How it feels like a real relationship. Like that image of the guy eating like cereal with the image of the other ladies like eating the cereal. And yeah, you've seen that. It's like, this is what listening to podcasts feels like. Like, there's 3 people eating a bowl of cereal like in an advertising, it's a poster, and then he's posing beside it like with his bowl. Like, it feels real. Like, you know, when I was listening to Mike and Jerry on Penny Arcade, like, and they were making jokes and I laughed, it felt like I was in their group, but I wasn't, you know? So if anything, I take that shit really serious, because I think you could, no joke, do psychological harm if we did something like had a divorce where we just like, just like, now it's Cecily and there's no Jim and there's never acknowledgement of that. That's fucked up. That'd be bad parenting. So I don't want to be a bad parent, bad podcast dad.
Yeah, it's all our listener children.
We'd have we'd have to divide. Like, I get the forums, you get Twitter.
I don't want either of it. You can have both of those.
See, I'm the one that loved you all the time.
He's not wrong about that.
All right, your turn.
Eric Whale something also has an easy fix for polling place shenanigans, like they do in Washington State. 100% mail-in ballots, no polling places.
Preach. Although I do like going to the polling place. Like,
yeah, what do you like about it? The lines, the hassles.
I've got a very well-run precinct, and I, even on very high demand, like, I have maybe a minute or 2 of wait, and I like presenting myself. I like signing the thing. I like getting my ballot. I like getting my sticker. I like seeing the makeup, like who's there, like what is it, an older crowd, a younger crowd, a more diverse crowd. I like everything about the game day itself. Like, I could have voted early. I chose not to. I like doing it on the day. I don't know. It's like same reason like I used to wait in line for Star Wars movies. You know, it was kind of an event. So
1 minute event. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
get
know.
The sticker. You get the sticker.
I could do without the waiting in lines and the hassle of driving somewhere.
I like taking my ballot and feeding it to the machine and it's saying that it's counted my vote.
See, all we did was just drop it in a stupid box. We didn't get to feed
Really?
shit.
You didn't get to feed into an Oprah machine?
Just in an envelope in a box. Boom.
I don't know.
I'm not even sure my vote got counted.
Yeah.
How would I ever know?
Here's my idea. Because, like, you know, this also would put a stop to all this this conservative talking point about voter fraud. Like, go like the first election on Iraq. It's a national holiday. You go and vote, and they dye your finger with some indelible dye. So then, like, if you go to try to represent yourself at a voting place, like, you got a pink finger, get the fuck out of here. Like, one person, one vote, national holiday. Anybody you can go there. It's a 24-hour period. You just wander in, you vote. You don't have to fucking have an ID, any of that shit. Just have to be a resident of the United States at the time. And there's already people probably like, whoop, whoop, they're going to fucking fly. No, they're not. No one's going to fucking do that. And if they do, then we can.
The Russians might.
Yeah, maybe. But we can
fly some, 20,000 people into a crucial precinct or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there needs a little bit more thought. But like, again, there's multiple ways we can increase the amount of participation people have in our democracy, and not a huge issue for people. Wonder why. Just like to bitch about it once every 2 years instead of fixing it. All right, let's move on. JTK the third, Jedi Knight 3, I think is what this is. I just realized. Great game. Will the Bald Move Holiday Special be returning this year? I love Michael Keaton theme last year. Hope you guys are doing well. We are doing very well, and oh boy. Yeah. Oh boy, is it returning.
Oh man.
Not Michael Keaton, but we do have
we have something planned.
We do have a Christmas extravaganza. And we are hip deep in producing it right now.
Yeah, it's certainly our most ambitious. I think this is going to have to be like the height of it. Unless we have like
we say that every
really
year.
Expanded resources next year. I just don't see how we top this as far as like you and I producing something.
Yeah. I hope people like it. I mean, we did. So like on one level, that's kind of like the first hurdle. Like even then, like I keep enjoying it. It was really fun to write and brainstorm. It was really fun to perform, and I keep laughing at the same shit. So I think it's going to be good, but you never know. Never know.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm a little shaky on is the release schedule and format. I don't know if we have nailed that, and I don't know if there's a way to nail it, doing all the things we want to do.
No, there's no way to A/B test it. Like, what's the perfect way to get this out? But there's the whole month of December is going to be lots of fun and games here. So
yeah, we're planning on releasing just like last year, something, or just like 2 years ago, rather, something every day. I think we have it scheduled.
Yeah.
Releases every single day. Some will be shorter, some will be longer. Lunches are going to count.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because we usually use some gift presenting, although got to make sure we get the word out that our address has changed. Like the guy at the Plinko machine, it got returned. I got to get with him to get that.
Did he just like send it to our old address?
I don't know, because that should forward, but then again, I think that only forwards like mail, not like UPS stuff, and so I'm working out with him. But I want to make, like, if for whatever reason you got us in your address book, update that address book. It's on baldmove.com/about, the new address, and it always is. So if you're ever going to send us something, check that page and make sure things haven't changed, because honestly, it's going to change again.
Hopefully early in the new year.
Yeah. I don't know. If the UPS box works right, it would be cool, because I do like not having to worry that we have, because a lot of times, we'd get a shipment and it would get sent back, and because we didn't get to the studio when the UPS guy was there or whatever. So I kind of maybe keep it, but then we don't have to change addresses. But yeah, always check at baldmove.com/about. Is it my turn or your turn? Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, No More Spoons has a question for you, Aaron. How are the numbers looking on the God of Thrones podcast you and Anthony released?
Good. It's so like every time we do something that's not mainline Game of Thrones, people unsubscribe. So like when we did we did seasons, like we had 1 million people listening to season 7.
Oh, yeah.
We do season 2, and that falls off to like 150,000. It starts off at like 250, falls off to 150. Then we come back for season 3, and it had gone like 125, and we were down to like 85,000. And like Anthony Eyes like started off like at 70, and it's like now to like 50,000. But that's still pretty fucking good. And I'm, you know, like creating interesting content that also advertises my book is I hope a winning strategy with people. Did I answer the question? Was there anything more than just traffic? Okay.
No.
Be interested to see what that comes roaring back to next year. Like, I have no idea. Like, it's been a long off season. Last season was kind of divisive, but I mean, if you're in for that, like, I can't imagine you're not going to fuck the last 6 episodes of this show.
Right.
Like, I think it's going to be nuts. I think it's going to be nuts. Adobo, Wiener, Lindelof, Gilligan, Esmail, Hawley, Duffer Brothers. Do these names represent the Mount Rushmore of the golden era of television? Am I missing any? Is this list too male heavy? Does it say something about me or the industry that I couldn't name a woman or person of color with the exception of Esmail?
Like show creators?
I mean, that's a pretty good list.
Oh, I think you forgot Gimple. You forgot Mazzara. You forgot.
Oh,
what's the other? Darabont. You forgot quite a few people who need to be up there.
Who's the guy who did the Boardwalk Winter? It's not Terrence Winters, is it? Is it really? Okay. I think he's up there.
Weiner, Gilligan. I mean, I didn't hear you mention Simon. I feel like Simon's in there. Who did,
David Simon, of course.
Fucking Sopranos. Why can't I think of the name?
Shit. Not Simon.
No, it's the other David, isn't it?
Fincher.
No.
This is where people are screaming into their phones. You son of a bitch! It's. Why isn't this the first? Oh my God, David Chase.
Chase, yes, thank you.
Chase. What Milner? Isn't he the guy from?
I mean, he kind of early on really kicked it into gear. Sopranos.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch, honestly, but like you got a pretty good list, and yeah, it does. Like, I mean,
I feel like the mountain has been carved, and Duffer Brothers don't really belong on there.
I was about to say, I was about to say, there's a couple people here that are like so far one-hit wonders, perhaps, and even then, like the jury's a little out, because you could throw. Oh shit! I came up with and forgot the person at the exact same. Someone had a really good rookie outing this year. I don't know. Anyway, he did say that he also got Lisa Joy. So they're like with the Westworld. So like there's one woman runner. But no, I mean Hollywood. It's that's the thing that's kind of so crazy to me when people start arguing the social justice crap about Hollywood. Is like it's a self-evident fact that unless you really think that women can't write compelling television shows or movies and direct them or be involved in the kind of high-level producer roles, then there is a huge unexplained imbalance, or it's explained entirely by sexist attitudes. And it's not even actively. It's not like I don't think there's a bunch of people in Hollywood like fuck women, although certainly there are. It's more of just like the blind spot. Like if like 10 years ago, me and Jim, when that set up a production house, every person on that staff would look exactly like us. And it wouldn't be from maliciousness. It'd be like the fact that we grew up in a place that like wasn't racially mixed at all. Or we didn't. I grew up in a religious organization that did not encourage men and women to mix together. It would have been entirely for innocent, and I mean that innocent, like free from sin, like Adam and Eve not knowing they're fucking naked when they were kind of way. But it still happens, and I think a lot of this you get stuck on that, you know. Like you get stuck in the embarrassment of someone saying, "Hey, you're fucking naked, you dumbass," instead of being like, you know, there's the denial. No, I'm not. I got this fig leaf. Instead of like, we got a woman who's like an associate director, assistant of. Right. There's the fig leaf. Like instead of just being like, "Oh yeah, fuck, you're right. Yeah, we should probably, you know," unless we think some kind of secret sauce to excluding all these different people. But yeah, that's a little soapbox. So I gotta have one, right?
I think you got to put the people who created the golden age of television up there, not the people who are just perpetuating it, right? Like, you don't put fucking Obama or Trump on the fucking Mount Rushmore. You put the faces
don't
that built
give him
the
any
fucking
ideas,
country, right? Like,
yeah, right.
I mean, sure, you throw in a Lincoln, you throw in somebody who came later, but had substantial contribution.
Roosevelt,
so maybe somebody
lately.
else could get on there eventually. But like, you got to put the Chases and the Simons and the Wieners.
I do think that's
Villigans.
something. I think that's something because I know to me Bill Simmons kind of is the guy to popularize the Mount Rushmore argument, and there was always the idea that the Rushmore is something that has a little bit of time and distance between it. Like, you know, maybe let LeBron retire and get a decade into the mist of time before he probably is going to go on, right? Probably going to get your chisel out and put him on Mount Rushmore, but you know, it's so hard to say when you're in the moment. Like, you need to get some distance and time before you know who is the Rushmores. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, shit, maybe Jefferson was a mistake. Washington, sure. Lincoln, fine. Teddy Roosevelt, really? Maybe we could put some different guys on there. I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, I think that anytime you're talking about Rushmore, you're talking about something that's like permanent and like with hindsight and some historical merits to it. So, you know, a lot of these guys, like, that would rule out Esmail. That would, I mean, Lindelof is like the junior class of that because he had Lost under his belt.
Lost was like the one mainstream.
So, but Holly, nope.
Show.
Duffer off, Esmail off, even Gilligan. Nah, I mean, Breaking Bad and Mad Men are like a pair to me, and they're getting long in the tooth. Like, that's like those are shows that have been around that we've considered for a long time. So yeah, but there you go. Your turn.
Taquito says, "What's your dream international vacation? I'd love to go to Japan, have some nerdy game and anime fun in town, then head out to the countryside." That sounds cool.
Just flying somewhere. Or
dream international vacation. I don't know.
My dream international vacation is sailing around all the ports of call of the Mediterranean in a like well-appointed 40-ish foot sailboat.
Okay.
But if I want to be like reasonable, I really, really want to go to New Zealand. Like, that's probably my number one destination to go to. I probably should go to Europe. Because you could do a lot of things. Like, you could spend 2 weeks in Europe and hit up, like, you know, Paris and London and Barcelona and Hamburg. I don't know where all the places you want to go, but like, it's kind of like, I mean, it's like driving to States, right? Whereas if you go to New Zealand, it's going to take you like 3 months to get there, and you're going to spend, you know, you maybe go see the Lord of the Rings sets, and you go, but like you're limited in what all the different types of experiences you're going to be able to have. So, but yeah, I'm just really enamored with New Zealand. And I don't have to learn a new language to get.
Yeah, that's super important.
That's honestly, for my provincial ass, that's a big plus.
Yeah.
Big plus. What about you, Jim? Did you already take it?
Well, definitely. Yeah, we have another question about this, which I was going to save the Italy stuff for, but Japan's a cool one. I would honestly, I'd much rather go to the countryside of Japan, like go to the gardens and the mountains and stuff like that, than go to like Tokyo. I think it'd be cool to see Tokyo, but I mean, it's just like a future tech version of New York, right? And I didn't care to stay in New York for more than a few days.
More polite, organized version of New York.
Yeah, safer, cleaner, all the things that you would want out of a better version of New York. Yeah, I don't know. I could spend maybe like a day or two in Tokyo, but the rest of the time I'd want to spend outside of it.
Japan's pretty low on my list. I would much rather go to like China. But that's like, where in China, like, do you want to go? Where in China do you want to go?
All of it. I want to see
like,
all
it's
of
like,
China.
I want to visit America. Well,
Right.
which fucking part? I mean, I know that's true of a lot of places, but it's like really true for big places like China, United States, Russia, I imagine.
And that's the thing with me and vacations. I never know whether I want to go there to do all the touristy things like the Great Wall, and some of the temples and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. Forbidden City, Great Wall.
Or if I want to go there and like try and get whatever small piece of integration I can get while I'm there, you know, and just kind of keep it low key, avoid the crowds, kind of try and live that, you know, Tokyo, China life, whatever, Italian life. I don't know.
That's why I think like 3 months in the Mediterranean in a sailboat would be perfect, because like you can spend as much or as little time any place you want. I mean, as long as it's along, I guess along the coast. You couldn't really move inland much, but yeah, that's what I do. What did you said you were going to do something with Italy? There's a second part of that question.
Yeah. So there's a BJ Wyckoff also says that at the age of 45, I decided to try jiu-jitsu because he's a Joe Rogan fan, but also it was a bucket list thing.
Right.
He said, as you age, or he asks, as you age, have you had one of these midlife bucket list items come up? What are bucket list items? Bands you need to see, things you need to do?
Man, I've really tried to stop thinking of things in bucket list and more of like, am I really passionate and want to do something? Can I do it as soon as I can? Because nothing is promised.
Bucket list almost implies procrastinating, right?
And it like it really focuses your life up to get like, you got to like you realize how much of debt is an anchor. And I had gotten like in my late 20s, gotten myself into, even with a good income, got myself into a good degree of debt, and you know, working my ass off to get rid of that enabled me to do something like Bald Move and some of the other experiences I've had, which have in turn kind of like limited the possibilities. But hey, Bald Move is a pretty nice possibility. But yeah, I don't know. Like I got into boxing when I was like 30, because I got into like, I lost a bunch of weight and I got strong, and I started, you know, getting like you know, wanting to learn a martial art. And like, you know, boxing is pretty good. It doesn't give you any kind of ground game, but if I was doing it again, I'd probably do Brazilian jiu-jitsu or something like that. That's one of the reasons I like Jack's place, is because you know, I think karate is kind of like a jerk off martial arts, honestly. Don't want to, I mean, black belt probably hand me my ass, but I'm just saying that like, guaranteed. I think it's empirical. Well, we've learned, one of the things the UFC actually taught us is there are some disciplines, judo, jiu-jitsu, boxing, those work. Those like you need blends of it, because there's hardly any practice gives you both the ground skills and the stand up and fight skills, but those three combinations are pretty fucking good. And his dojo teaches jiu-jitsu and judo as well. So but yeah, that was something I did, and I got out of my system. I would hate to do it now as a 40-year-old. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I marked something off. As much as I have a bucket list, I marked something off it last year, or this year, earlier. Going to Italy is one. I kind of started taking the language classes because it was something I've always wanted to do, like learn another language. And I figure, you know, it's probably not a great time to do it right now, knowing the season we were going into, but it's like, fuck it. I'm either going to do this or I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And if I keep putting it off, I'll never do it. The other thing is I would really love to learn how to fly a plane at some point. That's one of those bucket list things that's actually kind of hard to do because it just takes money.
Money and time.
It's not about like, oh, I've got the time to do it.
Right.
It's more about like, oh, this costs $25,000 to get through the classes on flying a plane.
And then you have to fucking own a plane or rent the plane.
For the gas. And
it's money all the time.
Yeah, it's so expensive to try to do. So I'm not there yet. Hopefully someday I'll be able to get into that. But language classes turns out pretty cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about, you know, and that's the thing, is like, it's amazing how much you can do if you just decide that you're bound and determined, I'm going to carve out this time and fucking do it, you know? Like Wednesday night, I'm going to do my Italian class. Like it's, you have to, because it's all about sacrifice. Like sailing was a kind of, I guess, bucket list item for me. And it's come almost entirely at the expense of my motorcycling career. I used to be an avid motorcyclist. Like I put on like 36,000 miles on my Bandit in 3 or 4 years, which is an insane amount of miles for a motorcycle. And it's gone down to 0 ever since I picked up like camping and sailing, because you just can't do it all. You really can't. You got to decide on, And like there's a couple things even motorcycle. Like I wanted to do like a Four Corners of the United States tour, like take two or 3 months and just like literally go Maine over the mountains across to Seattle, ride the Pacific Highway down to San Diego, go back through the American South. But I've done a lot of experience, like I've done a lot of long, high speed touring, and I never did sailing. So it's like time to kind of shift into a new position. Because yeah, you literally can't do it all. No. Like unless you're just like Elon Musk,
and he's not doing it all. Like
yeah,
you can't do it all.
Yeah, you can't.
Like he's building spaceships, and so he's unable to like
and
build fucking
and harassing Australian
right?
divers trying to save kids in caves, and that's the things he decided to focus on.
I mean, you got to do you.
That's on his bucket list. He always wanted to do that.
It was, yeah. Check.
Graham from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I've been on Ancestry.com kick lately. Have either of you done any deep dives into your genealogy? If so, did you find anything interesting?
No, but I'm considering it. So here's the thing. I know that my family at some point comes from Italy.
Right?
Which...
Unless your dad has been running the longest con of anyone I've ever known, that's a fact.
Yeah. So I really would love to get to the bottom of where that all lines up, because I could potentially get Italian citizenship.
Whoa.
And if I wanted to live in Italy in the future...
do you need to be like 25% Italian to get Italian citizenship?
No, it's actually easier than that, as long as you're...
One drop of blood.
As long as it's not on your like mother's side. Because fucking Italians before 1940, fucking sexist as hell. Still sexist.
Probably,
But before the war, as they call it, your genealogy doesn't track back through your mother's side of the family.
That's very cultural, because like it's the opposite for Jews. Jewish people, I guess that's all mostly the matrial lineage is what's important. You know what? I'm gonna retract that, because I'm going off a half remembered conversation with the lady from like 6 months ago, so that might not even be true. Sorry.
Okay.
But if it is, interesting counterpoint.
Yeah, but I don't know. I might actually be able to somehow finagle an Italian citizenship, because the one thing, like if I wanted to live in Europe, I'd probably want to live in Italy, and it's really fucking hard to get into those countries and stay in those countries. Like you can get there and stay for like 3 months, but you got to come back.
Yeah,
that's what my brother kept running into, is like he could stay for 3 months, but he'd have to come back. He'd have to leave to get a new visa or whatever. So if I could actually get citizenship, and he never looked into this, and I don't quite understand why.
Yeah, it's interesting, because like I happen to believe that immigration tends to be good for a country. But I also know that it's like as much as we fight about immigration in the United States, we're like way more liberal than almost any other country in the world. It's much tougher to become a citizen in almost any other country than it is the United States, and I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
I don't know. So
because we have
Italy's perfect though, right? They got no problems. They just want to make sure that no one gets in there to script their utopia.
They have no problems whatsoever in Italy.
Yeah,
none.
Okay, that seems like that's the logical reason you do it. But so I actually had a great aunt that did a ton of genealogy on my dad's side, and I have got I got like a DVD of like pictures and birth certificates and stuff she gave the whole family before she died, and I just haven't looked into it. And one of the things I know my dad has, and that's one of the things next year I want to get him to our new studio, or maybe to my home, because I got a home studio now, and just record like hours of me interviewing him about our family past and my grandfather and my great grandfather and when we came to the country and that, because it's like, you're right, like it's within the living memory still, and when my dad dies, it's gone. Like my dad remembers my grandfather speaking German to his father, and what the community was like when it settled in southern Indiana and stuff like that. And if I don't get that information out of his head, it's going to be gone. Yeah. He's in his 70s. I need to do that. So, and I don't know, because I thought about just doing that for my own sake, but like I might edit some interesting, just general interest stuff and like release it as a podcast. Like I'm not going to do it all. Like my dad would never agree to an interview on that terms.
Yeah.
But I don't have a great answer right now. It's your turn. Getting towards the end. Yeah.
Okay. Fernando Rodriguez says, mind blown. Your thought? No, we can't do this one. Sorry, Fern. I haven't read the story ahead of time. There's nothing I can do with that.
What's the story? You can't even tell just from...
No, okay. It's something about like a theory on Star Wars.
Oh, shit.
I don't know.
Do I have to have my ball gag in? Where's my ball gag, Jim? I think you've got it.
I do.
You typically hold on to it when we're not using it.
Let's move on. WC and me, who says, we lost 2 legends when Stan Lee, okay, that was this week, and William Goldman, who wrote Princess Bride, Butch Cassidy, and Sundance Kid, All the President's Men. What are your favorites from them, and how did their passing affect you both?
I'm a lot more familiar with Stan Lee's work than Goldman, unfortunately.
You might be surprised.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen All the President's Men, though. What was the other Sundance Kid and Butch Cassidy and Sundance? I haven't seen that one either. There's a couple of like especially like 70s era shit on the AFI list I never got quite to because it's like I don't have a problem going back to like black and white shit because I think that's interesting, but there's something it's a prejudice of mine that I think 70s filmmaking, with the exception of like Godfather, Star Wars, like some other things, are just kind of not good looking. And it's probably because the transfers were all shitty and I need to get a Criteria edition that cleans it all up, but like my when I think of like 70s films, I think of dreary, drab transfers on VHS tape that are worn out from the video store. Because I tried, and that's why I kept coming against that limit. So, yeah. But Stan Lee, yeah, like I said, just fuck my recollections. Go listen to Kevin Smith. He does a lot better job, and he hits all the same points I would.
I'm gonna read through some of William Goldman's stuff because he's got a lot more than you think.
Okay.
That you've probably seen.
Hit me.
So yeah, there's All the President's Men. I'm just gonna go through the ones that I've seen personally. Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, Princess Bride, Misery.
Oh, yeah.
Maverick.
The movie?
Yeah.
Like
Absolute Power with Clint Eastwood, The General's Daughter, Hearts in Atlantis, Dreamcatcher. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Good stuff. I don't know what my favorite out of that is.
Princess Bride.
Maybe Misery. Misery is really damn good.
I've never seen Misery.
You haven't seen Misery? Huh. That's a good movie.
Texas Sandman from Texas. Any experience with you gentlemen, or any experience? Do you guys have any experience with tankless water heaters? Our big tank is at the end of its life and it's spitting out warm water at best. I think it's time to replace. I think we're going to go to Walter White route and get a tankless, but nobody knows any firsthand knowledge of how good they are. Your water heater advice is welcome. I've never used one, but I've yet to meet someone that has and said that it's shit. Like, you know, get it sized where you need it and, you know, have it professionally installed or know what you're doing. And like, it's infinite hot water. Like, it's cheaper usually. There's the calculators where you can say like whether it absolutely be cheaper or not, but holy shit, it seems like the way to go. I can't wait. I cannot wait. We got a new water heater, so I can't really justify it. Like it was like bought like a year or two before we moved in, but yeah. You know, whenever we redo the roof, I'm going to take out the old fireplace and the water tank will probably die then. I'm going to go full tankless. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. These tank water heaters is like old tech, man. Yeah,
it seems completely inefficient.
It's like, yeah.
Keep water heated when you're not using it.
Yeah. It is. It totally is.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Oh boy. WC and me also wants to know if we have any plans to cover the rest of Haunting of Hill House on Bald Move TV. Really enjoyed it and would like to hear how you like the rest of it.
What was that last part?
He just enjoyed it. Are we going to cover
enjoyed what though? I'm sorry.
House? Haunting of Hill House.
Oh yeah, I finished it. I thought it was really good. Red Letter Media had a good review of it. I thought. So that's like I thought about it, but like I don't think like now it's like I don't know if a review would be relevant. Plus we didn't like write as much stuff down. But I thought it has a couple peaks, like not peaks in like quality, but like emotional and like tension peaks, and then like, you know, it kind of trails off and builds up to the next one. But I thought like at the midpoint that I'd seen the best of the show. But I thought the finale was actually pretty powerful, and it's also remained spooky for almost the entire run, which is kind of incredible for as long as it is. yeah, if you're a horror fan, I think it's almost required watching.
Watched the first episode with my girlfriend. Turns out she doesn't like it. So
really,
yeah,
really,
yeah. I was surprised by that too because I thought it was pretty good.
Wow, I wonder what the deal is, because like that's the other thing is like it's fairly compelling, just family drama. You know, like the problems, dysfunctions within family, and like what suicide can do to it. Like it works on that level, and then there's also some legit spooky stuff. Steve Otts from the UK. A few weeks ago, I tweeted saying I was watching Star Trek: The Next Generation for the first time and ask you your favorite episodes. I've just finished a whole series plus the films and loved it all.
Jesus.
I found the commission podcast you did on All Good Things, and you mentioned you did an MST3K style riff of the season 1 episode Justice for an early Kickstarter. So my questions are, A, do you still have that Justice riff somewhere? And if so, will you ever make it available to club members? And B, what are your favorite and least favorite TNG movies? Oof.
Pretty sure we do have that.
I think that's part of the
somewhere.
That's in the vault, right?
Yeah, it's probably part of the vault if you're a club member.
If not, it should be. And it's funny. Like, boy, howdy! I remember it being very funny. I busted lots of guts.
Yeah, it was one of those where we didn't just turn the movie on and joke our way through it. We sat down, we watched the movie multiple times, we made jokes, recorded them, picked the best ones, polished them, and then did an entire pass.
Yeah.
With all of our best jokes.
And we blended some of because some we did have like some fairly funny like instant reactions where we're actually cracking each other. We put those in.
Right.
But yeah, we tried to be professional about it. I thought it turned out really well. I'd love to do more of those.
The amount of time it took to get that one.
But it's so much fun.
But if we had someone who could...
Yeah.
If all we had to do was watch the movie twice and write down our best jokes...
Yeah, because
then
just synchronizing that to the track is holy shit. Because you accidentally move something, and then oh my god, the whole thing is it's a lot of intensive time producing it. Like if we had someone to do the scut work for that, so we'll try to find that. What's your least favorite? I mean, my favorite Next Generation is the Nemesis. Is that it?
Oh,
First Contact.
Movie? Oh, yeah, First Contact is the best.
The worst is literally all the others.
Yeah.
It's poor Next Generation just got a garbage run of movies, man.
I kind of like Insurrection, but I think it was my residual love of First Contact. Kind of bleeding into the next one. So, yeah, you can't go wrong with First Contact, but the rest of them, ugh. Yeah,
pretty bad. Let's see. Your turn.
What about Generations? Did you like Generations at all?
I mean, it's
the Kirk Picard crossover movie.
It's a good 2-episode season finale cliffhanger episode of the Next Generation, and that's it
in movie form.
Movie form, yeah. So
that's all I got. Cecily says it's confirmation bias, not the Mandela effect.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Babe, thanks for having my back. Faranka from LA, any updates on that podcast with Cecily? I asked her, apparently. She's answering questions on the feed. We actually talked about this on American Horror Story podcast. Sometime between now and like the end of January, we're going to get it done. Because I'll have the time to actually come up with the logo, the feed. And I thought like Jim's success with Fiverr has made me think like, wow, I could take a little bit of budget and actually do some really cool like bumper music. And I kind of want to do this thing that Jim's always talking about, like with production values and stuff. Like,
oh boy.
Like, it's like keep my hand in that game.
Yeah, you got the bug.
Let's see. Let me see. Defense. Hey guys, I'm a senior in college and moved away in my first apartment this past semester. A few nights ago at around midnight, I had a pipe burst in my bathroom.
Oh, fuck.
And my whole bedroom was flooded. I was able to turn off the water within a few minutes, so it wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, thank God. I also got in touch with the maintenance guy at the complex who came over immediately and wet vac the carpet and set fans and dehumidifiers to dry all the water up, and everything seems to have worked itself out. This is my first big, holy shit, I need to be an adult to handle this moment of my life. So I was wondering if you guys could recall the first event of your life that triggered the same adulthood really sucks, but I have to deal with an emotion.
I had that, so...
Dude, it's water, dude. My story's going to be plumbing related. What's yours?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this is my first holy shit I need to be an adult moment, but my most recent one was the flooding of this fucking basement, and it happened like the weekend before I was supposed to go to Italy.
Yeah.
So like on
oh Jesus,
and it happened at night, so it was like fuck. Okay, so like it starts flooding. I literally start pulling everything out of the basement that has any value, that's got an electrical cord at all, that can be damaged by water. So I spent like hours doing that, just pulling everything out. And then the next morning I had to get up and pull the carpet out, along with everything underneath it. You know, the pads and the strips were all destroyed. And
Right.
I had to do all of that shit like 2 days before I was supposed to go to Italy. And it was just like, well, I got work to do and I got this. It was just a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, when I got my first house about 3 months into it, the water main, the main water pipe in the garage broke. I know it was in the utility room, or the wall that shared the two, and I just woke to this like sound of a water. It's fucking insane how much water comes out of that shit. And fortunately, we had just had the house inspected like 4 months ago, and I knew where the main water. And I'm trying to fumble to get to that, but like my alarm sound is the sound of water running. It starts off slow and great, and it never fails to wake me up within 5 minutes. There's something like and sometimes like my neighbor's gutter, the downspout that like connects us to the ground got knocked over in a high wind. So the rain was like made this pitter. When that happened, there was a crash that kind of woke me up, but then I heard this like deluge of water, and it instantly, because it just sucks. Like I'd almost rather my house catch on fire than flood. Because the fire, at least, like, fuck it, man. What do? The insurance, like, you got, but like, the water is like, it's your fucking deal to deal with it, man. And
Yeah.
it's just a bummer, and it ruins so much shit. And you gotta, yeah, like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, wait, yeah, there's no one to call. Like, this is your responsibility to take care of. And, but yeah, water, man, running water is not something you want to hear in the middle, and it always happens in the middle of the night. Right. Which, thank God, it didn't happen. Can you imagine that happened when I was at work and I come home and there's just like a waterfall running out of my garage and stuff like that? Or like I still like I told this story about my neighbor. We had this flash flood that funneled all of the water in our neighborhood down this, like, it literally Niagara Falls rolling into his basement, and I was just like, fuck, dude, this sucks so much. Like, thank God it's not me, but yeah, it's the worst. It's all water. It's all water. You want to fuck with water, people. Let's see. I think we are about done. Okay, here's one. This is the last one. Paul G. If you could take a character from one TV show and put them in another, who would it be? Mine would be Kenny Powers in Game of Thrones.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do we want to increase the quality of something, or do we want to decrease the quality of something?
I'd put
What to put
the Hound in Stranger Things.
The Hound in Stranger Things?
Yeah. Replace Steve with the Hound.
I'm always like, my go-to is like Don Draper from Mad Men, because I think he'd be so fascinating to plug into so many different things. Like, imagine him in The Leftovers. An old, full of regrets. Well, maybe not. Don Draper in the world of The Leftovers, and like Sally disappeared or something. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna put Don Draper in The Leftovers and see how he deals with the disappearance of his daughter, and what hilarity would ensue on that fucking show. And that's a lunch with Jim and Aaron. We still got a bunch of stuff to do today. We got like 2 more podcasts to record to kind of wrap up. I think this is our last actual production day for the Super Serious Film Fest, and then it's all Christmas from here on out. We got 1, maybe 2 Romanoffs left. 2 Romanoffs left, and Christmas content from Hell to Breakfast. So thank you for your support. Thank you for showing up and giving us some entertaining topics to discuss on lunch. Have a great weekend. Reminder, next week is a short week. It's Thanksgiving here in the United States. Jim and I are taking Thursday and Friday off to spend time with our families. So we will not be doing a lunch, but we will be back the week after. And we're going to be, I mean, is that the first Christmas lunch? I think it's the last non-Christmas lunch.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be Christmas time, y'all. So, again, thanks for your support. Have a great weekend, and we will see you sometime next week. And until then, I'm Aaron, Jim, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you.